Streetbike. He's going to talk us through some of the features and benefits and the big key parts on the bike, obviously with me, tell him what I liked about it, and tell us about prices, things like this, as a final kind of round off to the R1. So Alex, once again.
Hi Luke.
Hello mate, how are you buddy? Yeah, I'm good man, I'm always stitching you up and getting you to tell me about bikes, but this is obviously different. I rode the white one, but this is the one that, as it's cold and dark outside, as you can see, we use the one that's in store. Brand new this is, isn't it? Off the production line.
Straight from the factory, straight out of the crate.
See now, straight away I've got to talk to you about the looks, because the R1, a lot of people have said, oh, big, you know, it's not a typical Japanese style racer, it's got the big bug eyes. As soon as I saw this, when we did the unveiling down here, I loved it. And everyone else is like, well, it's not a Blade, or it's not this. Having ridden it, I fell in love with the looks, even more so. I like them, and the black and gold looks amazing.
It looks stunning.
I'm not going to lie, I've ridden, what, 80 bikes in the last 10 months? Lots of different bikes, and it's kind of hard to keep a rationale. I remember what you love. I think the Triumph Thunderbird made an incredible impression. The Jux 1000 was good. That booster was amazing, that I'm going to be riding the next few days. But this is the greatest bike. It combines everything I want in a bike. It handles like nothing else. The sound is unbelievable. It goes like, well, an elevator, a wardrobe and an elevator shaft. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the handling, suspension, it's not like most track bikes. When you get on, you know, it's impossible to ride on the road, or it's unforgiving to ride on the road.
Yeah. It's probably, I would say, likewise, I've ridden a few bikes now over the years. I would say it's probably straight out the crate, probably one of the most accomplished sports bikes I've ever ridden, straight out the box.
100%, I'll go with that.
Yeah, I felt instantly at home with it. The motor was just incredible. What Yamaha have done with that Crossplane crank is just
noise.
incredible.
It's like a V4.
It's like 3 bikes in one.
But it is, that's exactly it. It's like having a really powerful twin.
V-twin at the bottom, V4 through the mid-range, and then plus 8,000 revs.
It's an inline 4.
It's like an inline 4, just absolutely incredible.
And what I love about this as well, I mean, we'll probably get to it, is explain to me technically why it is, but the handling on this, normally you get on a sports bike, it's so taut, suspension's so hard, you hit any little bump, you know, and which you get a lot on the roads, which you don't get on the tracks, you know, you're off balance, you're not getting the traction in, so you can't brake, you can't turn. This thing, suspension-wise, was incredible. I was driving around Spaghetti Junction, and you know the bumps that normally throw you off the back, even at 30 of any kind of sports bike, I was doing kind of like, you know, 50 miles an hour it's supposed to, and it's completely smooth.
It's just the progression forward now in sports bike technology.
Yeah.
Thanks to Valentino Rossi, I mean, he's helped Yamaha no end in development with the M1 for GP racing. And Yamaha themselves, as with Suzuki and the other Japanese manufacturers, they're putting this technology straight into the road bikes.
It really is, isn't it?
And the suspension developments, that's where that's coming from as well.
So this, I reckon this is, as I say, you can get tauter bikes, and I know you can get this set up as a track bike, you could get the suspension hard and everything else, but as you say, it makes you feel like Rossi when you get on it, you know, because it's just unbelievable. But yes.
It's incredible. You've got full adjustment for rebound, compression, and preload damping all on the forks.
I have no idea what that means, but it sounds good.
You can adjust it at the top and the bottom.
Okay, cool.
So with rebound you can adjust how fast or slow
okay, it's going to come back, yeah, of course.
With compression you can adjust how
much
fast
it's
going to come up.
Okay, cool.
So you can adjust that to suit, depending on the road conditions.
Yeah, yeah.
I've pretty much found over the years that riding them standard straight out the crate is pretty much where they need to be.
They're set up for, isn't it?
A little bit harder for the track.
Yeah.
If you're carrying a pillion, then you might want to firm things up at the back and perhaps go up a couple of clicks on the ring spring.
Sure, yeah.
Straight out the crate, I mean, I'm probably about 10 stone wringing wet with my leather, so I've found them pretty much spot on.
No, totally. Well, I don't know what, even for me as a 6'3", kind of 13, 14 stone, 15 sometimes, guy, I found, as you say, just get on it. Didn't feel uncomfortable, didn't feel small. But yeah, carry on. Let's talk about that engine. Obviously, Crossplane crank. Now, to a lot of people, they'll be like, what's a Crossplane crank? As you probably know, everyone else knows what it is. I think I have an idea. Is it a case of, instead of firing the sequence being 1, 2, 3, 4, it's kind of 1, 2, 3, 4?
It fires in a bit of a peculiar order.
Right.
What they've also done, it removes a lot of the stressed weight and the spinning momentum on the crank as well. So you've not got a massive sort of flywheel weight on it. Which, as you probably found when you ride it, it gives you that impression under braking that there's no engine braking.
This is, do you know what? That was one of the coolest things. It can spin up to like.
Hard to feel.
It was very different, but I really liked it because I'm a rider who likes to accelerate and brake, and I know a lot of guys on the road, it's all about the smooth riding, the real kind of good riders. They would be freaked out, and I spoke to a few guys, including Jace down here, and he went to kind of engine braking first, and because it spins so high, because of the way it is, it's a lot more subtle.
It just frees up, the way they've designed it, it frees up the inertia on the crank, so it'll just keep spinning a lot more freely. That's what helps to keep the racers gathering and keeping
keeping the speed. Yeah, totally. Instead of losing it every time, they kind of like let it across.
That's why the M1 does so well. It's not particularly the quickest bike in a straight line, but where it makes up for it is in the corner speed.
And that makes sense with Rossi's style of racing, because he's slower in to allow him to get faster out the course. So that would make sense.
And that's where we always need to be on the road.
Yeah.
Is it's much safer to go slower in and come faster out when the road opens up and you've got a clearer view.
And that's, you know what, having said that, you can now see why all these little refinements they've been making, as you say, Rossi's input, because you can. It's a very good point. Cool, okay, now again, let's have a look at the brakes. These are
huge discs now, with the 6-pot radial mounted calipers.
Yeah.
So plenty stopping performance.
It did feel like it, because it feels so light as well. It did feel like it could stop on a dime.
Really will stop you well, with confidence as well. You've not got that feeling that it's going to instantly lock the front. It's really progressive, really smooth braking.
There's not ABS on this, is there? Which is the one. But that's the one thing hasn't got.
There's only the Honda Fireblade that's got the ABS option on the sports bike at the moment.
Cool.
Yamaha, whether they're going to develop that or not for the future, I don't know. But with brakes that good.
Yeah, you almost don't feel the need for it, do you? And then coming back, obviously, just looking at the layout. What I liked about this, we're looking. We'll look at the booster one when I can ride the next few days. It's got more in it. This is so concise. It's literally got your digital readout here, analog odometer, or rev counter, even odometer, and and
again, all the simple, usable, rider-friendly features that you're ever going to need on a clock surround.
Yeah.
Gear indicator, fuel gauge, clock, and mode selection.
Yeah.
Again, as some of the manufacturers are getting on board with this idea now.
And it's got that here.
Three-way mode selector as standard, so you can change the mapping on the fuel injection to suit the conditions that you want to use the bike for.
Again, A is fully taught, fully full on, kind of like racing on a track.
Full on, if track day mode and sports riding. Every time you switch the machine on, it'll default to what they call standard or the middle mode, which is pretty much perfect for everyday road riding in good conditions. And then you've got mode B, which again just softens everything off, backs everything off. So for nights like tonight, daft as it sounds, you can commute on one of these. Yeah, no, you really can. I rode that. I remember taking it out, and Gary was kind of saying, take it out, put it in A mode, give it a blast, kind of thing. I did, and while I was doing that, it actually started chucking down, and it really did. It was torrential. This was last Tuesday, so I flipped it back into B mode, and it was so easy to ride. It was brilliant. It's a double swing arm, isn't it? Yeah, you've got double brace swing arm, heavily braced underneath. Again, coming straight from GP technology.
Yeah.
To give rigidity and strength in the swing arm, which will help aid stability and handling. Quality. Give you all that feedback that you want.
And you do get that. You get that feel though. Although I was saying the suspension is soft, it's not like you don't get the feel and the kind of that response from the bike you want. It's just it's not chucking you off, which is lovely. And finally, this is brand new. Actually, you've got an offer on here, which is perfect for this. We can actually focus in on that. Brand new. It is, what is it, 1100?
They're coming at 11,100 on the road.
Yep.
And that's just one of our examples on there at the moment.
Okay.
For a rider preference, personal contract purchase agreement.
So 11,100 on the road you can buy.
Yeah.
They're going so quickly though, aren't you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean we've got 3 left, and that's it for this year.
Oh my god! So in other words, Yamaha Y1 for me and Alex. Well, I'm definitely saying probably best bike I've ever ridden.
Bike of the year.
Bike of the year, definitely. I will ride more, and I will ride different bikes, different styles. But for a sports bike, you just get on and actually feel like you are Rossi. It's amazing. It's £11,100. Get it on an offer, man. That's worth having. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Honestly, that's probably the most fun I've ever had on a bike.
Yeah, I mean it is £1,000 or so more pounds more than its competitors.
Yeah.
But having ridden it, it's worth every penny.
Yeah, I must admit, I've compared that. I've compared the Gixxer, and I spent a day on the Blade. All of them are amazing bikes. You'll not be disappointed with any of them, and you really won't. But if you fancy something that's just stands out and a little bit different and that is like nothing else I've ever ridden, R1's the one for you. Right, nice.